and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where of course we are going to be going through Barca's 4-1 victory over Girona on Sunday. We're going to be talking about all of the big moments from the game, and along with that too, plenty of fitness updates as well. We've got big games, of course, on the horizon. We're going to be talking today about Raphinha's availability and Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who has moved closer to his return. It is all on the way, guys, so come on and let's do this. But indeed, today's video is coming to you courtesy of Manscaped right here, guys, because you know what? The sun is starting to come out, and what that means is we can't hide away in home forever, you know. We can't avoid leaving the house when the sun is shining, so it's time to get ourselves looking presentable. And basically, in the same way that Barca's attack is extraordinary this season, it is precise, it is sleek, it is stylish. You could use all of those same words to describe Manscaped's cutting-edge grooming tools right here. You can get absolutely everything you need to stay looking good and feeling good this summer, and courtesy of using the discount code TalkFCB at checkout, you can also get 20% off your order right here today. So go ahead to Manscaped now, look at all of the tools, all of the quality they have online. Speedy delivery is guaranteed, and don't forget, TalkFCB to get 20% off right here. But indeed, guys, I would like to talk right here, first of all, about Garcia, because yesterday he actually made his 100th appearance for Barca, and I've got to say, I think he deserves a lot of credit right now, because obviously throughout his Barca career, you know, he's had some highs, he's had plenty of lows as well, he's had criticism from the fan base, and I think when he originally came in, you know, we thought, oh, he's going to take over our backline, you know, he's going to be the guy to really build things around, and of course, it hasn't quite transpired in that way. But I think what Garcia has done really, really well here is that he's developed into a really valuable player without being an outright starter. Because you look at it so far this season, he has been really, really helpful in a number of key positions at Barca. And that is why when offers were coming in for him in January, when the club were actually thinking, you know, should we cash in? Should we sell him? Should we let him go? Hansi Flick said straight up, no way is Garcia leaving the club. And of course we saw him right after the international break playing at centre-back against Osasuna when we needed him. And then of course against Girona on Sunday, he's in midfield for us, helping us out there, giving Frenkie de Jong a little bit of a rest. And I think he deserves a lot of credit here. He has emerged into a dependable, important squad player. You need those in any successful season when you're competing across all fronts. And I am glad that we have him, because it's actually very, very interesting, guys, because then we switch to Ferran Torres, who of course yesterday got another goal in La Liga. This time he was coming off the bench. He's done that so well this season, and that there was his 9th La Liga goal. He has scored a goal in La Liga every 89 minutes. That is an unbelievable goal record right there. And again, he deserves massive credit for that. And I think you can actually compare him a little bit with Garcia too. Because, for instance, when Ferran came in, I mean, he played every game. He was the man, basically, during the peak of our financial difficulties. He was the big signing, the big name, the big money signing. And everybody thought, you know, he's going to be our hero. He's going to be the star of this team. And Xavi kept playing him, kept plugging away, kept hoping that something was going to happen. And it just didn't. You know, the confidence started to fall away for him. But I think now, you're looking at the way that he's playing, the way that he's being used, the way that he feels trust from Hansi Flick. Again, maybe not even when he's starting matches, but coming off the bench, he feels very important. And I actually think he's benefiting here from maybe not being the main man. You know, you've got Lewandowski ahead of him, you've got lots of stars now in this Barca team, you've got Raphinha, you've got Lamine Yamal in that attack, and I think Ferran has benefited here from some of that spotlight being taken away from him. He's under the radar, he's exceeding expectations of what we had of him this season, and in the role that he currently has, he's playing well. He is contributing really big things to this team, and again, in a long season, with big games, with a lot of matches, you need players like this. You need players who are going to stand up and who are going to deliver when you need them. But indeed, guys, another really interesting thing that I think we have to observe from yesterday's game is the fact that when Alejandro Balde came on, he was playing as a winger. Hansi Flick yesterday looked at that game and thought, in the latter stages, shall we just experiment a little? And I think, first of all, it speaks volumes here that we brought on Balde, that we pushed him forward at left wing instead of using Ansu Fati. Now, that is a big, big message sent out there. We know about what Flick said before the game. He was not really speaking highly of what Ansu was doing in training, for example, and we are seeing that continue in match days. But Balde on the wing, I'm intrigued. I've got to be honest with you guys. I am very, very intrigued about this because, like I've said before about him, he's incredibly explosive. When he gets in possession of the ball, he can glide past players. 1 minute he's there, 1 minute he's gone. He is going to leave you in the dust. And I just thought yesterday, with a little bit more care, with a little bit more experience maybe inside of the box, he could have had a goal, he could have had 2 goals, he could have racked up assists there. He is a dangerous player, and I certainly think with work, and I'm interested to know what Flick was thinking yesterday. Could he develop that? Could he be used in that kind of role? Because Balde started his career as a winger, by the way, so it's not completely unfamiliar to him. And of course, we've all enjoyed him very, very much so at left back, and we will continue to do so. But there's so much more in his game. There is so much more that he can unlock, in my opinion. And yesterday was another great example of that. However, guys, make absolutely no mistake about it. It wasn't only the arrival of Ferran Torres there in the second half that really helped to tip the game in Barca's favour. It was certainly the arrival of Frenkie de Jong. And you have to give him as well huge, huge credit. We all know what he's gone through this season, coming back from that. It was a really difficult injury because it was one of those whereby he was able to train, he was able to play, but there was that lingering feeling, in his head, in his body. Am I okay? Am I in pain? Is it starting to come back? It was a difficult one to treat, but you've also got to give huge credit here, in my opinion, not only to the performances, the really improved performances from Frenkie, but also to Hansi Flick again. I think his handling of these kinds of situations, it's been outstanding there. Because, he has taken Frenkie under his wing ever since he arrived at this club. He's supported him during his comeback. He did demand more of him, though. You've also got to say that here. He wasn't happy earlier on this season with Frenkie's displays. He did leave him out of the team. He did say, look, we need more. We're going to have to wait for the best level to come. But the faith was always there. He always believed that Frenkie could be a big part of his team, and he certainly had that vision now that we are seeing. And I also think with every game that goes by, with the minutes that they rack up, Frenkie and Pedri now, they're starting to understand each other more and more and more. Of course, they played plenty of games together. They're not strangers here, the two of them, but in this Flick system, in that midfield too, you just feel as though that partnership is growing. It is starting to evolve and evolve and evolve, and that's incredibly exciting too. The team that we see right now, the players that are on display, they're incredible. They're doing phenomenal things, but one of the most exciting things of all, we're still not done. We are still getting better. We are still improving. We are still making strides. This Hansi Flick team, it is scary. However, guys, speaking of scary, well, it was a little bit scary for me yesterday to hear some of the reports that were coming out surrounding Raphinha, because obviously yesterday he wasn't involved, he was left on the bench there for the entire game, and can I just say, I thought he looked quite sad. We were winning the game, everything was going very, very well, but then the camera pans to Raphinha, he wants to be out there, that's his character, he is so, so eager here to be involved, but Flick just holding him back right now, just saying, look, we need to keep you out of the team for just a minute, because there were rumours that Raphinha was suffering with some extreme fatigue, of course. He played 2 really, really high-tempo games with Brazil, lots of emotion on the line in both of those there, and then, of course, he made the really long journey back to Barcelona. So he has been given here just a few more days to rest, to recover, but the great news is, what we're hearing today in the media is that Raphinha, he will be fine to face Atletico Madrid on Wednesday in that all-important second leg of the Copa del Rey encounter. Remember, guys, 4-4 on aggregate. We are evenly poised right now, and we will need Raphinha there. That is the kind of game that he comes alive in, the big occasion, the big moments. That is exactly what Raphinha loves. But this is where it gets interesting, because speaking of those big moments, well, could this be a big moment in our season? Because Marc-Andre Ter Stegen today actually rejoined the group for full training for the first time since his injury there. He completed part of that training session with the rest of his teammates as he continues to move closer and closer and closer to making his return from that lengthy injury layoff. And of course, all along, I mean, Ter Stegen has been really, really motivated. He's really worked hard here on his recovery, and he wants to be back. He's made it very clear, very publicly, I want to return. I want to play before the end of the season, and that's the hope that he has right now. And that is why he's putting in the hard yards. He's really, really accelerating that recovery process. He's going to return quicker than expected here, but will he return? Will he get back in this team immediately after returning? Because again, guys, when I see these things about Ter Stegen, I think, okay, it's applaudable. It's very, very impressive how well you've recovered, how much and how eager you are to be back. He's the captain at the end of the day. Of course, we've got to respect that. However, I don't want to disrupt things, because then in goal, you've got a guy like Wojciech Szczesny, who's been incredible. I mean, his influence on this team, it cannot be understated. He is 18 games unbeaten as the Barcelona goalkeeper. Now, that's no coincidence. You can say here, the team are doing well. Obviously, we've won games. Nothing to do there with Szczesny. He has helped that. He has been one of the driving forces behind being that calming figure, by being a good influence in this team and a strong character. And those are all of the things we need for the remainder of the season. We have performed well in La Liga, we are in the Copa del Rey, and we are still going in the Champions League, which is also where Szczesny's character, his real leadership, has thrived this season. And that is why I don't want to see us mess around with this. I don't want to see us disrupt right now the dynamic that we have going. But that is certainly something here today, guys, as Ter Stegen gets closer now to that return. What do you make of it? How do you think that things should be when he comes back? What do you think that Hansi Flick there will do? Please do let me know all of that in the comments down below, along with everything else that we have discussed in today's video, guys. I really do hope that you have enjoyed it, and please go ahead. Don't forget to check out what Manscaped have to offer. Keep yourself looking good and get 20% off your order with the code TalkFCB. I will catch all of you very, very soon. Thank you indeed for watching, but until next time, as always, Vejska, Barça.